We're also going to be joined in that session, which is going to be close to 45 minutes. We also have Dr. Jitendra Singh Ji, the Honorable Minister of State for the Prime Minister's Office, Ministry of Personnel, Public Grievance and Pensions. We also have Shri Ajay Mittal, respected Secretary, Department of Personnel and Training, who's going to be joining us. These are the three distinguished guests. Apart from them, we have our Chief Information Commissioner, who are going to be part of the inaugural session, close to 45-minute session. I would also like to apprise all of you, on the arrival of the Honorable Vice President, I shall be making an announcement and requesting you to rise at your positions. And then you're requested to remain standing, for the very first thing we have is the national anthem. We have the band, the President band, which is right at the back. They are going to be playing the national anthem. And we are going to be also concluding the entire event, the inaugural session, with the national anthem. I shall be again making an announcement towards it, and you're requested to rise. In fact, as the Honorable Vice President is escorted outside, he departs, you are requested to remain at your seats for another 2 to 3 minutes before you move out, so that we have the house in order before till the time he leaves. And then, of course, when we move out, that's going to be a short 10 minutes break. It's again going to be a stretching break or a bio break, whatever you wish to call. And then we are going to be starting with our 3 technical sessions for the day. In fact, in every convention, the Central Information Commission has also been having the themes, various topics on which there have been discussions, views and recommendations, suggestions are invited from all the stakeholders. And towards that, there are 3 sessions which are planned for the day. Just after the inaugural session, with a short break of 10 minutes, we have the first session, which is going to be on the topic suo motu disclosures. The second session, which is going to be post-lunch, is going to be on record keeping. And the third session, with a short tea and coffee, side में, aisles में, कहीं बीच में, please आपसे फिर से एक बार निवेदन करना चाहेंगे, आप please अपने स्थान पर बैठ जाएं. May I request you to remain standing for the national anthem, please?
please be seated. Honorable Vice President, Sir, the Honorable Minister, and all the distinguished dignitaries on the dais and off the dais with our very eminent special invitees and honored guests present in this august gathering, our friends from the media, ladies and gentlemen. It's a pleasure and with great delight I welcome you all on this very special occasion as all of us gather in for the inauguration of the 12th Annual Convention of the Central Information Commission. Thank you to each one of you for having taken out time and being a part of this special occasion. And ladies and gentlemen, the Commission has been organizing this convention now regularly since 2006, with the lone exception of the year 2014. And it has been organizing it regularly with the objective to take stock of the effective implementation of the historic act, the Right to Information Act 2005. And then through this convention, the Commission has also been extending a platform to all stakeholders, from the academicians, researchers, the students, the teachers, the NGOs, also the civil society group members, apart from the senior officials from various ministries across departments of the Government of India. We have the presence of the state CICs, the ICs, the presence of the Central Public Information Officers, the first appellate authorities, and then also our former members of CIC, the former CICs and ICs who've extended a very strong foundation to the Commission, inviting them all on this platform to seek their views, their recommendations, their suggestions, and even their experiences on how to make this act more effective and more implementable. So ladies and gentlemen, as we take this mission further in the greater interest of the citizens of all of this country, we are really glad that to inaugurate it and to lead these talks, we have the Honorable Vice President of India, Shri M. Venkaiah Naidu ji. So on behalf of everyone present here and on behalf of all the members of CIC, once again a hearty welcome and thank you to our Honorable Vice President, Shri M. Venkaiah Naidu ji. Our greatest regards and greetings also to our distinguished guest of honor, Dr. Jitendra Singh ji, the Honorable Minister of State for Prime Minister's Office, Ministry of Personnel, Public Grievances and Pensions. And also welcoming Shri Ajay Mittal, respected Secretary, Department of Personnel and Training. Thank you, sir, to you for gracing the occasion. And now, ladies and gentlemen, may I request the Chief Information Commissioner, Shri Radhakrishna Mathur ji, for his welcome address.
A very good morning to all of you and a very warm welcome on this occasion of 12th Annual Convention of our Commission. Honorable Vice President, Honorable Minister of State Dr. Jitendra Singh, my colleague Mrs. Parashar, Shri Ajay Mittal, all the distinguished guests present before us, which include our own serving information commissioners, our ex-commissioners, ex-chief commissioners, from the state's chief information commissioners and information commissioners, representatives from various ministries, departments, stakeholders of RTI, press, others. Let me extend a very warm welcome to all of you. The convention has always been an occasion to do a stock taking of what we have been able to do since the last convention. And therefore, I would like to take a few minutes to just enumerate what we have been doing in last 1 year. Firstly, on the pendency levels, I would like to mention that as on 1st April of 16, we had a pendency of about 35,000 cases. On 31st March 17, 1 year later, we have a pendency of about 26,000 cases. What is more important is that we had about 6,000 cases pending from 2015 onwards, some as early as 2009, 2010, etc. We have managed to liquidate that. 2016 vacancy we hope to liquidate by January 18, and Our expectation is that from February 18, we will hear only 2017 cases. Second major change which we have been able to bring about is what the courts have been trying to do for quite some time. We are a smaller organization, we have been able to do it. We have converted to a paperless system. All our files are on computer. All hearings we can do on computer, linked with the video conference. Registration of an appeal or complaint, if it is complete in all respects, is done within 48 hours. We have also started using SMS and email for various informations regarding the commission. A process of transparency audit has been started by us. We are working on it, and hopefully in near future we should be able to talk more about it. We are presently in the process of interaction of what we have done till now. We did not have a facilitation desk, but from 1st July 16 we started a facilitation desk. It has been proving to be helpful to general public. Very roughly till date we have answered about 3,500 queries through this facilitation desk. We have also been giving advisories, directions to various government departments, ministries about systemic improvements in the governance. Insofar as video conferencing is concerned, during the hearings, 16-17 we did about slightly over 15,000 hearings through video conference, which is an improvement over 10,000 odd conferences, video conferences, which we had done the previous year. One important change we have been able to bring about is a public authority interface, which means every ministry can see on the CIC website the pending cases in their name. Out of about 2,000 public authorities, over 1,000 authorities have already registered themselves on this public authority interface. We have already seen results that the CPIOs, the Chief Public Information Officers, come better prepared because they know what the case is all about in detail and no confusion arises. Sometimes they are able to address the problems which may have occurred during perhaps the tenure of their predecessor. We have changed the systems a little bit because there was a demand that instead of meeting once in a year in a convention, we should meet more frequently. This last year, we have held already 2 seminars, one on implementation of the RTI Act, the second on land records and RTI Act, and both were very well attended. We have given a lot of, we received a lot of suggestions which we have passed on to various ministries, in particular also the Land Resource Ministry. So today we hope to discuss 3 subjects relating to suo motu disclosures, record keeping, and the emerging trends and implementation of the RTI Act. At this stage, I would also like to register our thanks and appreciation for the cooperation that we have received from the Ministry of Personnel for our functioning throughout the year. It is something which we cherish, and we hope to continue that very good relationship. About the 3 subjects that I talked of a little earlier, I would like to say that we received a very enthusiastic response, and we had to perforce disappoint some people whom we could not accommodate. We have gone through their presentations. We would imbibe whatever they were saying. We hope that in the next conference, we are able to give them opportunity to speak. I would say that today, at the end of the day, one would like to go back with a renewed sense of urgency to serve the information needs of the general public. We would like to be able to give better quality of information, better quality of orders at the first appellate level, better quality of orders at second appellate levels, and more importantly, or most importantly, timeliness of the orders. Nobody should be forced to wait 2 years, 3 years for an order from the Commission, because information, if it is late, it is dead information. It doesn't help. So therefore, I think this should be one of the targets for today's discussions. I hope we are able to improve on whatever we are doing. With these words, I would like to welcome once again all of you. I would like to thank Honorable Vice President for gracing this occasion. We are very proud and we are very privileged that he agreed to our request and gave us time to be present here. I would also like to welcome uh, uh, our Minister of State, Dr. Jitendra Singh, who has managed to come out of his busy schedule. We know that he landed late at night yesterday and he has come immediately thereafter to this function. We appreciate, sir, the effort you have taken. Thank you so much. Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir, for highlighting the various measures and initiatives which the Commission is taking, adding more speed and scale, and further the approach which the Commission is adopting towards serving the information needs of the citizens of this country. And now, ladies and gentlemen, may I request the Honorable Minister, Dr. Jitendra Singh Ji, the Minister of State for Prime Minister's Office, Ministry of Personnel, Public Grievance and Pensions, for his address.
Honorable Vice President of India, Adaniya Shri Venkaiah Naidu ji, Chief Information Commissioner Mr. R.K. Mathur, my colleague in DOPT and Secretary Shri Ajay Mittal ji, Mrs. Manjula Parashar, Information Commissioners over here, State Information Commissioners and representatives, former Chief Information Commissioners, ladies and gentlemen. At the outset, I have to profusely thank Shri Venkaiah Naidu ji for having spared his valuable, precious time for this function. Sir, you have become virtually our in-house chief guest now. And most of the DOPT-related ceremonies, we bother him. We take the liberty, sometimes forgetting that he's vice president now. But we always look forward to his presence because it's not only inspiring, it is also educative, as you would learn very soon when you hear him speaking a few moments from now. And I would also say that as far as I am concerned and many others like me are concerned, we have a divine connect with him, which is evident from what happened in the last 24 hours. It was around the same time yesterday I called him up to seek his permission to abstain from this ceremony because I've been tied down in Gujarat for the last 2-3 months. And then suddenly, I think that is his providential magic. There was a cyclone in Surat, which happens to be my Kendra. And I was told that I don't have to indulge in any public activity for half of the day. So I decided I would spend half the day here and after this function go back to Surat. Right, sir, we are privileged and it's God's will that we should always remain enlightened through your wisdom and your good words. Ladies and gentlemen, if you recall, on the 26th of May 2014, when some of us took the oaths of ministry led by Prime Minister Narendra Modi, I had at that time also written that this is the beginning of a journey from despair to hope. It was virtually a sunrise at sunset because the entire world lit up with the television sets as the twilight approached. And you would also recall that one of the earliest statements made by the Prime Minister was that we are committed to provide maximum governance and minimum government. Now, in the context of the deliberations that we are going to have today, if we just ponder over it, how do we actually go ahead to achieve this goal? And to my mind, I think the most easy and the broad and the simplified explanation is that if we actually have to achieve this goal, it will be based on at least 3 or 4 targets. A, transparency; B, accountability; C, in-time delivery; and fourth, of course, shortening of the official procedures. And this is precisely what we have tried to achieve in the last 3-4 years, as was being very nicely spelled out to you by Shri R.K. Mathur in some of the objectives achieved by the Commission over the last few months and years. And I think one of the biggest challenges before this government when it came in the year 2014 was corruption. And therefore, we embarked on a two-pronged strategy: A, zero tolerance against corruption, and B, adequate protection to those who were performing their task with honesty, integrity, and a high degree of excellence. And this was also a challenge at that time because there was a tremendous amount of cynicism all around. We had inherited a whole lot of baggage. I recall that at the time of independence, when Winston Churchill was not very happy with and Clement Attlee having agreed to grant independence to India, Churchill, in one of his famous speeches in the House of Commons, has said that this is going to be the biggest blunder because in just 50 years, India would go back by centuries. They're not capable of governing themselves. They'll be wedged in by malpractices and malgovernance. And to some extent, this started appearing true with huge list of coal, Augusta, 2G, etc., etc. I'm not going into detail about that. But what was more worrisome from my point of view was that the kind of acceptability which had got into the psyche of the common man, also to an extent of the system, to accept it as a norm. And therefore, this was a huge physical as well as a psychological challenge. But I, for one, have never been pessimistic, and I still believe that this is part of the evolution process of a democracy which is as young as 70 years. 70 years is very small in the age of a nation. When the histories are written, 70 years do not even occupy the footnote of a chapter. It's only in the mortal being you realize that when you are 70, you are living on borrowed years, and any time you may have to quit or exit. And therefore, to that extent, I think we have evolved, and this government has tried to accelerate that process of evolution to the higher level. And ultimately, of course, the ultimate objective for any evolving society or evolving democracy is the level where we have the self-esteem of being incorruptible, or the self-esteem of being transparent, or self-esteem of being accountable, or self-esteem of being able to deliver in time to the deserving. It's something like Mahatma Gandhi's virtue of non-violence, who always said that non-violence is not the virtue of meek and weak. It's not that you are attacked by someone who is stronger than you and then you take the alibi of being non-violent and try to strike peace. It's only when you have all the ammunition at your disposal and then you decide out of conviction. And for any ideal society, that is the ultimate target. But till then, we have to take the course of law. Though I firmly believe, and I firmly believe, that law is not the ultimate remedy. If it was so, by now, we would not have any requirement for an ITI-like legislation. But you've seen, in 1950, we had a constitution which gave all the provisions against everything that we are trying to fight against. In 1988, we had Prevention of Corruption Act. 2005, we had RTI. 2010, we have citizen-centric charter. Now we are heading for Lokpal. And what next? So ultimately, till we are able to evolve as a nation and draw bottom lines. But what makes difference, and I have no hesitation to say so, at the risk of being even self-preposterous, is that in the last 3-4 years, there is a political dispensation, because ultimately it is the political dispensation which makes all the difference. The bureaucracy is same, the officers are same, the information commissioners are also drawn from most of the retired senior officers. They remain the same regardless of whichever political party in power. And therefore, a huge difference is made by who is there at the top. And the last 3-4 years, the Modi government has evidently shown the will, the sincerity, the conviction, the courage, and the commitment to live by all these principles that are sought to be promoted by acts like RTI. And it was not only for the purpose of committing verbally. I think if you look back, soon after this government came in 2014, or somewhere early in 2015, it was the first time in the history of RTI in the last 10-12 years that we have all the vacancies filled in. We made it a point to place this before the Honorable Prime Minister. And he was very encouraging, very supportive of this. I don't know for what reasons the vacancies were left vacant. Maybe waiting for some more desirable officer to retire and take over. We never went in for that. We blocked all the vacancies. As the Prime Minister said, हम यहाँ सरकार चलाने नहीं आए, party चलाने नहीं आए, देश चलाने आए. We don't leave slots vacant with any motivation. And there have been occasions in the past, sir, in the last 10 years when this commission was running with just 3 members. You're talking of pendency, but this was one of the reasons. So the political will is there to give the commission all kind of support it deserves. I am myself engaged with the successive chief information commissioners over the last 3-4 years and got in the process of making this RTI totally online. And we have an RTI online portal which enables anybody to file in an RTI sitting anywhere in the world, even if you're traveling outside. And that too from your mobile. If at the dead of the night if something strikes you and you feel like filing an RTI, you're welcome to do that. You don't have to wait for 10 to 4, 10 to 5 and walk into an office. That is the facility which we've provided in the last 2 years. And of course, as Mr. Mathur said, we've gone paperless, but we have not gone RTI-less, which is going on increasing. Similarly, when we came in, the number of public authorities on the RTI online were just about 96, because we live in an evidence-based figure, and anything that we talk has to be supported by statistics figures. Otherwise, it doesn't carry weightage, at least in 2017 world. And therefore, I support this by saying that in 2014, we had only 96 public authorities, and in 2017, we had already till now 1,893, and by the time we complete 2017-18 financial year, we'll have 2,144. So we have gone nearly 20 times ahead. You can understand the pace with which this process has been sought to be pushed forward. The number of RTI requests online, when this government came in that year 2013-14, which was just concluded at the time because the government came in May 2014, was 87,831. And in 2016-17, the year which concluded March last year, it was 2,68,920. The figures speak for themselves. I don't have to elaborate. Similarly, we have tried to supplement it because incidentally, the commission is linked to DOPD and ARPG. We have a grievance cell in the ARPG, Administrative Reforms Department, which is made totally online. We have a CP Gram portal where till 2014, the number of grievances coming every year was just about 1.5 to 2 lakh. Can you imagine today we have 11 to 12 lakh grievances?